Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians cast, episode 634. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Connor?
Hello.
What's up, Zaynette?
Hello.
What's up, Gloria?
Hello.
What's up, Mikey?
Woohoo!
All right, so what do you have, Connor? What's going on with Doctor Who?
Peter Capaldi did an interview at Comic-Con that literally got published 2 days ago, and he was talking a bit more in depth about Series 9 and what's to come, and we've got some information that we haven't heard yet, which is rather interesting. He kind of confirms that there's been a bit of a time gap between Last Christmas and Series 9.
Okay.
So a bit of time has passed since then. So
how much time?
he didn't say specifically, but I think it's a decent amount of time to probably notice changes in the relationship between him and Clara. They probably got a bit closer now.
So, all these adventures happen that we didn't see, and they're with each other for over a year or so, more than normal, maybe?
It makes you think that they're going to leave a gap there so later they can fill it in with missing adventures or something down the line.
Oh, so in other words, if she decides to leave, they could just, come back, they could just fill it that way?
Well, I'm saying eventually down the line, like they've done with the other Doctors, they could say, oh, well, this adventure took place between Last Christmas and, whatever the first episode title is. It's convenient to do that now because they could go back and show you, oh, well, this is how, whatever. A few references since Last Christmas that they had an adventure where they fought giant celery stalks. They could actually go back. Yeah, they could go back and actually show that they reference. Yeah, like the Terrible Zode. It could become an inside joke where they're always Patrick Troughton was always talking about the Terrible Zode, and then we never saw that adventure, but yet he always is talking about it. So
right.
Yeah.
Sort of like we also said in the Big Bang when he was going back to our longest timeline, he went in a TARDIS and they went to space Florida, and I'm like, where the hell was that adventure? And he's trying to talk to Amy, and and she can't hear him, and she's all dressed ready for the beach. Certain adventures which didn't see. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the interview, rather interestingly, he went on to talk about his relationship with Clara, and he actually said, which I don't think we knew properly until now, that he knows things about Clara's future that she doesn't even know herself.
Oh, he cheated.
Well, it's only fair, isn't it, under the circumstances?
Right, she knew everything about him, right.
I wondered if he did, because just the way he acts towards her sometimes. And then when he was like, the impossible girl, who are you? I wouldn't be surprised if he went, forward and seen who she was or what she became.
Yeah. That's
interesting. Because, that kind of adds to the dynamic between them both, because if he knows something bad's going to happen to her, he's probably going to get closer to her. So I think it's kind of adding a bit more to the relationship than it is now.
But if he knew something bad was going to happen to her, wouldn't he prevent it? Because it's not everything's a fixed point.
Well, it depends. Well, like you said, it depends if he can prevent it or not. If he probably
because he knew, I guess he must have knew that Martha Jones was going to die, so he stopped the Sontaran from shooting her.
Well, that's different because that's not significant, really, in the context of the episode.
But the thing is, would he save her if that had such negative adverse effects with everything that she's done? Because she's been momentous with being not only in his life, but with him when he's had all these other things going on and all these other adventures. So by saving her at a fixed point in time or whatever could actually have reverberations throughout time and space, and
exactly.
Wiggly wobbly timey-wimey gets fucked up
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just literally going to paraphrase some things that he says. He goes on about he starts talking about if he'll ever beat Tom Baker's record, and he kind of said that it's not up to him, it's up to the people at the BBC. And
right.
But he did kind of express interest in actually getting close to it. So whether we'll see him for a few more years is to be decided, but I expect...
We know he's definitely in Series 10.
Yeah, he's definitely in Series 10. I think he'll probably be here for another 3 or 4 years, I think.
But nobody made an offer to extend it beyond Series 10 right now.
Not yet, but he could sign another contract. I mean, it's not set in stone that he leaves.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, and then we go on, like... And then the interesting thing, actually, is that he does actually say that something happens to Clara in episodes 3 and 4 that I assume have really big repercussions throughout the whole series. So, and I think that she does die in the finale, because that's kind of the way that he was saying it. He was kind of talking about like it's something really, really bad.
Here's the thing with Clara now, okay? If she died in the finale, technically, in theory, there's like 1 million Claras running around. So he could just go to the other Clara that was staring at the 10th Doctor, wherever that one was, because that was probably not Oswin, somebody else.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Maybe a bounty hunter Clara or something, or whatever.
It creates an alternate timeline, which can then explain stuff further on in the series, like the double Osgood. There's 2 Maisie Williams. There's even 2 Doctors in the finale, apparently. One that's badly turned as well.
So in other words, something happens to create a tangent. There's 2 of everybody?
Not 2 of everybody, because obviously they can't have 2 of everybody in the episode. But
when like, he restores the timeline, then all those secondaries are gone, though.
I think that's what will happen in the finale. He will restore the timeline, and it'll be back to normal, but she'll die. And she can't come back.
Or she'll not die, the alternate Clara will be around or something.
Well, that is a possibility, yeah. I mean, that's how alternate time.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm very worried when we talk about that, because, like, Moffat tends to, like, make mistakes when he starts screwing around with that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you really look carefully, like, I'll try to give an example as best as possible. You know how, like, in the 50th anniversary, the hat was on display, the fez?
Yeah.
And then he used that fez to throw it back in time. And then that fez goes into the art gallery, and then he throws it back and forth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a paradox with that, because eventually the fez is going to just disintegrate. It can't last an eternity. Okay? That's not... It would have to be a different fez. You know, like same thing with the little statue of the man, right? That same statue of the man is constantly, like, going backwards and forwards in time. Eventually it's going to fall apart. Like, it can't be the same statue.
What wasn't the thing that he threw the fez through in Day of the Doctor? Wasn't that a wormhole? So doesn't that work differently through...
No, because the thing is, he throws the fez in the wormhole, right?
Yeah.
The one that was found in the past originally, right? So that same fez is aging. The fabric's aging. So eventually you're not going to have a fez left, because it goes from the present to the past, aging to the present, into the past. It's like a loop. Like, it's not supposed to be like that.
Cyclical.
You know, it will like disintegrate eventually, or wear out, and it would just screw up the timeline that way. I mean, like, his rules of time travel are so beyond. Like, I always said, it's like the Bill and Ted rules of time travel, which was a spoof of Doctor Who. Like, Russell T Davies wouldn't do that stuff. You know, some of the stuff that he does, I shake my head, like, how is it possible that this happens and there's no explanation? You know, like, I mean,
well, like, it must be really difficult for a writer to write where you've got 2 timelines that are working the same but have different results, and you've got to then weave that into each other. I mean, like, you're bound to make a mistake, and I mean, Moffat's not perfect.
No, I know, but I don't know. I'm a little weary of this because don't forget, like Russell T Davis's idea, like Father's Day. Rose and the Doctor saw the father, and then they went back in time to try again, and then they've erased the other ones that were waiting there. Okay, just phased out. That's what's supposed to happen. You can't just have two of everybody. So now you're saying that the rules are completely different. So, like what they're doing with Amy's timeline, Moffat kind of messed that up too, because it's like she only knew the Doctor without her parents. So when he restored the parents, wouldn't that prevent her from meeting the Doctor in the first place? And then it's like she remembers two timelines, Rory remembers two timelines, Madame Bavarian remembers two timelines, River Song remembers two timelines, but what the hell is the timeline? Because nothing was explained, how nobody knew the Daleks, how could it just be erased? It's like, it's so weird. It's like, how many timelines is Amy going to have?
I mean, that's why I think that Doctor Who doesn't try to get that intricate with detail.
Yeah, you should get intricate because it's Doctor Who. I mean,
but I can kind of understand why they should get intricate like that, but I also understand why maybe they haven't, because like it's a time travel show. So obviously in the future they might want to change things.
I mean, they changed the Impossible Astronaut. She discharged her gun. And she didn't kill him, and it kind of created a whole mess of things. And then it was restored back to the way it was. Okay, but like he saves Davros, right?
Yes.
So like he's in the eye of the storm, I guess, right? So he's not going to phase. The TARDIS is going to go nuts. Either Clara's with him or Clara's with Missy, and then there's a whole brand new timeline, right? Well, but that timeline would be. He would be prevented, like the Doctor. Totally.
That he saves Davros, but he doesn't stop Davros from having an accident in the future that could leave him like he was in Genesis, for example.
But by him saving Davros, he kind of, like, the first appearance that he faced the Daleks as the first Doctor would be altered, because Davros would be around for everything.
But Davros was around for everything anyway, because he was just crippled.
But he wasn't. He wasn't around though, like in the first Doctor's. He only appeared when the fourth Doctor appeared. He never appeared like before that.
Because he wasn't invented before Genesis.
Well, I know, but
that's going back into intricate kind of. I think you kind of got to look at it quite plainly, like. It doesn't prevent Davros from becoming who he is, so it might not be something that has serious repercussions. It's like you've just got to look at it as it is. Like Davros wasn't before Tom Baker because he wasn't invented. They probably didn't.
I know, but he's much more powerful, 100%. So that's why I'm saying everything should be altered. Everything. Like, remember to the Daleks, he wouldn't be just in that. He would be, probably walking around on Earth rather than, I mean, it probably wouldn't even get to that point of the Daleks turning on him because he's more powerful than ever. So there wouldn't be no factions.
But what would make him more powerful?
Because, all right, he's blind, and he can't walk.
He's crippled, yeah.
So he, in a rage, I guess he creates the Daleks, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is just speculation because we didn't see the episode yet, right? But if he is 100%, and that doesn't happen to him, and he just doesn't invent the Daleks, all right? Because there's no purpose to, because I guess the only reason he invented the Daleks is because he was crippled and everything and needed something to win the war. But with his intellect and with him at 100%, he's like a Hitler. So he don't freaking need the Daleks. They'll just like go on like manipulating people and just taking over everything.
Well, then doesn't that kind of add something about the Daleks' purpose in the episode? Because then what if they go back and they consider their own existence, that they could not exist if the timeline kind of altered? So what if they made Davros who he was?
Well, that's the whole point. That's the possibility that the Daleks will want to cripple him and blind him, and he'll destroy them because he's better 100%. A whole new timeline.
Why would he be better? I mean, he doesn't have any superpowers or anything.
No, but you see, the thing is, it's like, I'm trying to. How can I explain it? He's got it. He's at a full strength. Okay, it's like Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Thanos has the gauntlet. He killed everybody, right? Not only did he kill everybody, but he got bored. So he's like, all right, let me mess around with people's history and torture them. And he killed them like millions of times each, okay? Until he got so cocky, whatever, you know, it is. But what I'm saying is, like, without the Infinity Gauntlet, all right, he's still friggin' powerful. Massively powerful. You know, he might even be more, like, he don't need the Infinity Gauntlet. That's the whole point I'm trying to say. Like, it might be, he might be worse. Like, and supposedly, isn't that what's supposed to happen? That the Daleks are prevented, and he's actually worse. The timeline's worse without the Daleks.
No, that was speculation that I don't think happened. But he's still injured, but just the Doctor saves him from what is probably death. That he's not like 100%. I think that he either something happens where he's probably nearly crippled, and then someone like Missy comes in and, you know, pretty much...
It's hard to speculate if we have no idea. It's hard to, like, try to answer the question without knowing what the hell is going on. It's like, we could be totally wrong about everything, really.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I mean...
I don't think we know for certain that an alternative timeline from the Davros thing could be created until we've seen the episode. So
also, it could make complete sense the way they do it. Like, whatever it is that they have planned. We're getting worried, you know, prematurely.
See, my thing is, I just don't want Moffat to abandon his plans before. I mean, obviously, there's a reason why he put in the Listen episode, you know, the future descendant of Clara and Danny Pink in there. Okay, I mean, you can't just put them in. The thing is, like, yeah, everything's in a state of flux, right? But now you basically shove that in her face. That has to happen, because if it doesn't, then that episode will never happen. You understand? And then she wouldn't lose Danny Pink, and Death in Heaven wouldn't happen. It's like certain things have to, like, you know, like he says, if I read to the book at the end, I won't be able to save Amy or Rory, whatever, right? Don't read the book. Don't read ahead.
Yeah. You know, like Doctor Who said, time's a wibbly wobbly thing. You fracture new timelines in parallel universes, so anything's possible, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it.
See, the timeline's intact from the classic series.
Yeah, but you can fracture into parallel universes and new timelines. That's how quantum mechanics work. Time travel.
Yeah, I think if you interpret Doctor Who as this rigid timeline at the moment, as the show is, I think that you're kind of looking at the show wrong. You need to kind of look at it where you...
I don't interpret it as a rigid timeline, though. I mean, because he said time was a wibbly wobbly thing. And
yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
he said you know, like the original Time Lords were time locked, and then they came back and they weren't time locked, and that led me to believe that time wasn't that rigid.
Yeah, I mean, like,
just based on recent Doctor Who.
Well, I have a whole theory on that whole time lock thing, but we'll have to go on to another podcast.
I have a theory that James Bond is Time Lord. You know, Timothy Dalton.
Oh, hey.
I'm being the same actor who played James Bond played one of the villains that was a Time Lord.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, Russell he played.
It was a David Tennant episode. I can't remember. It was a few years.
The End of Time, yeah.
The End of Time. It was he was former James Bond. Now he's the Time Lord.
Yep.
See, James Bond can put the Time Lord. Anybody can. I'm just being a smart ass. Sorry.
I know. That's all right. What the hell was the red matter thing the other day?
That was my
still trying to
saying
figure that out.
that is a colloquial.
I'm like,
People don't get. A lot of people don't get my humor, but
we trying to
basically,
be like red kryptonite.
I
or
don't like
something?
Star
We
Trek.
trying to
I don't like the new Star Trek. I don't like the last two Star Trek.
Red Matter was in Star Trek. The first
Red Matter. It comes up plot hole devices. JJ Jar Jar use.
Oh, the red matter from the reboot. That stupid thing.
Yeah, Red Matter.
That fueled the thing from
that was
back
so
in time
silly.
and Nero.
Yes, that's entirely fictional. Nothing. See, Star Trek originally based on theoretical physics.
Well, okay.
There is no such thing as red matter. It doesn't exist.
God.
Let's just stay away from Star Trek. Like we're kind of like creating a paradox in our Real Whovians casting.
I was like, well, you can have a red matter superblood gun. It can regenerate you and destroy you at the same time. It would be cool.
Right. All right. I asked.
Now you get the joke. Now you get the joke.
I opened my mouth.
My sarcasm to explain that I didn't like starting a new Star
Rubies
Trek.
and a sapphire. That's basically what it is. All
Rabies and a sapphire. Chaos generation.
Oh, rabies. Rabies and a sapphire.
Did you say rubies?
I think I said rubies. Must be my 15-hour day.
Like,
I'm tired.
Like the disease known as
I apologize.
rabies and a sapphire. Chaos in your order.
Chaos in my order, right?
Everybody has chaos in their order. In
It's
chaos.
true. Yeah. All right, let's get back to. They're dropping like flies over here. All right. People are not. Jesus, the ratings are going down. All right. Back to.
Going down.
Yeah.
Okay. People are like talking about.
Left to right, man. People are just losing everyone. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
How are you, Chris? What's going on?
I'm watching the ratings go down.
Yeah, I'm just watching everybody just drop out. I'm like, I don't want to talk about this.
Okay.
I think the ratings might be going up because of this. I don't know about that.
Maybe. All right, so Connor, go ahead. So, I mean, basically, Clara's dead.
Yes. I think Clara's out.
But she's not Jon Snow dead. Because Jon Snow dead is not dead at all.
Well, I mean, that's like two completely different shows.
I know.
Game of Thrones has kind of ruined itself by bringing Jon Snow back.
No, they didn't. They saved themselves because everybody was going to flip.
But
Thank God
Right, that's for different casts.
See, that's my fault. I keep bringing up things that are not relevant to the Real Whovians. All right, I apologize again. All right, so Davros has his legs. He's not blind.
But you don't know he has his leg.
Well, that's right.
He's not blind. I mean, he could
well,
be...
then somebody's walking. That guy with the hood in the trailer. I don't know who that is. We don't even know if that's Davros.
You don't know that he's not blind. I mean...
Right. Right, I know.
It's all good in the hood to me.
Right. Could it be possible that Clara just doesn't die and that she's going to be in Series 10?
No, she's not.
Please no.
I mean, where is the evidence that she, I mean, Peter Capaldi was asked, he's like, I hope she comes back for Series 10. I'm going to try to get her to stay. So, I mean, how is that, I mean, unless, of course, she's dead, but it's prevented?
I think she's going to be dead, but, like, they shouldn't give her a choice whether she stays or not after the kerfuffle she caused last time.
Right.
She should be either written out or told that she's going to die. I mean, she's been in it long enough, so just, like, don't give her a choice anymore. I mean, we don't want her for years.
Well, the thing is, like, again, I don't mind her in it, just as long, and I don't know if, Mike, you agree with me, but just as long as she's not, like, just be the companion. Don't be, like, the thing that causes everything. Like, I'm the reason why the TARDIS is blue, and he chose that one, and I'm the reason why Gallifrey is saved, and I'm the reason why Amy and Rory got back together. And it's I don't want her to be the cause of everything.
She is being a companion, but the way that people are writing companions these days with Rose and everything,
how do you do that? Like, the next companion's going to suck. Because what the hell is she gonna do?
Well, she's Claire can be kind of a bitch at times, but that's kind of what makes her hot. I would definitely tap that.
Take her back to the ditch for a nightcap.
All right.
No, I'd get a hook.
That's all right.
Hey, come on. We all thought that when we saw her in that red dress the very first time. So let's
Connor,
put the cards on the table.
Connor likes Missy though. He's not into.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I want to make Sue.
Okay, so Connor likes transgender women because Missy is like the first transgender.
What?
Yes, transgender because he used to be a man, a woman. Transgender. Definition of transgender is to change from one gender to change from one gender to another.
No, man.
Embrace it. Love it.
We're not talking about embracing Caitlyn Jenner. We're talking about
just like Caitlyn Jenner. Right, embrace it. Love it.
I think it's my fault. I think I turned this show into everything show topic wonders and Game of Thrones cast and Star Trek cast and everything, and I apologize tonight. Maybe because I'm tired, but
it's all right.
Let's just keep it the real Whovians cast.
Well, no, okay, on the real Whovians, Missy is a transgender. I'm sorry, I'm just saying it like it is. That fits the definition of transgender.
But Michelle,
something's wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with transgender. We just,
So when they make the doctor,
whatever gets your gander.
When they make the doctor a woman, is he going to be a transgender at that point too?
Yes.
Now we're getting political.
I mean, to change from one gender into another gender.
We're not talking about can we go back to timelines?
All right, we'll go back to Time Lord. Timothy B. Dalton.
Timelines.
One of the best James Bonds. He so is a Time Lord.
Steve Jobs, Cyberman. Come on.
Yeah.
This is definitely the reason to say shit because what the?
Fair enough. Okay, back to timelines. I don't think the timeline is that rigid.
On here right now.
You already know my opinion. I don't really think it's that rigid because he said it's a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey thing, and there's been times where they have changed time, and the Time Lords weren't supposed to come back, and then they were supposed to be time locked, and then they did come back. So that led me to believe that it's not as rigid as one would assume.
That's because, and I'm going to say it on here, it will leak into another cast, we have a Time Lord traitor that broke the time lock so Davros could be saved and did a whole bunch of stuff where the fall of Arcadia because we have a Time Lord traitor. That's why.
Okay, well then that makes it not so rigid. That's all I'm saying. Not a big deal.
Because
I think it makes it more interesting.
To break the time lock.
I think it was
somebody that's inside would have to do something in order for somebody outside to come in or something.
So who's the traitor?
It's the Valyard, because the Valyard's the keeper of time, and he's still alive, and he's the keeper of the Matrix, and he's manipulating the flow of time.
In 30 years?
It doesn't matter. The Doctor was on Trenzalore for 1,000 years. So the Valyard could be on Gallifrey for 30 years.
But how come we know that he's the traitor?
Because
how do you know he's even a traitor at all?
There has to be a traitor.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
There has to be somebody that's in there that allowed him to come in and out. There's some type. I'm still trying to figure out what the whole time lock thing is because I thought it was agreed upon, some type of rule thing that they set where the Daleks agreed upon it, or they agreed upon some type of war thing where they were all locked inside this thing.
There's no rules anymore. We don't see.
Well, now obviously.
Well, there's been a couple times the Doctor.
Because for them to land on Gallifrey and listen, time locked. I don't know, but whatever.
Well, there's been a couple times the Doctor said that he doesn't like to go onto his own timeline. That's one of the rules, but he's done that before anyway. Especially with the 50th anniversary special.
Well, that's kind of like the Prime Directive. They talk about it all the time on Star Trek, and they turn around and break it all the time whenever it's convenient.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to illustrate that it's not that rigid of a timeline. It could fracture into parallel.
I just hope if they kill Clara, they don't just make it that she's still alive and she's like almost like Silence in the Library, where they Forest of the Dead, where they just put her in the nether sphere with Danny Pink and she's okay.
Yeah, but what purpose would she have been alive off screen? I mean, can you not just keep her dead? Is it?
No.
I just realized.
See, you're talking about Moffat, who Moffat brings people back all the time. He's not going to keep her dead.
I just realized something. So, every person who's ever died, their consciousness is downloaded to the nether sphere.
Well, no, not every person. Whoever Missy chose, I guess.
Oh, whoever. Okay.
Which I believe Osgood she chose too. So.
That's why I always said that storyline could have been so much better, because think about how many people, quote unquote, died who could have wound up in there, and how amazing that could have been, and then it was just kind of like a 2-episode thing that was like, we'll fix it right now, and then that was it.
Right.
Yeah, that could have been very interesting.
You don't need to regenerate anymore.
I mean, all this stuff that they could have done, like all the possibilities that they could have said, and then they were just like, oh yeah, they're all Cybermen. And it's like, well, why'd you do that? Like,
yeah,
but then why'd you do that whole
You would have
thing?
had this like little pocket universe with like Steve Jobs and like Einstein and like all the important people.
What the hell is that guy looking at?
Yeah.
I was gonna
No,
say.
but it's like why do the Cybermen if you could have just handed it over to the Doctor in the first place?
It really felt like that episode. It was like, we got to finish this. How are we going to do it really
Exactly,
quickly?
and they just screwed it up. That's what I thought.
And when
It
that
was
guy,
almost like they had a deadline and they couldn't finish it.
hey Chris,
Let's do the Macarena.
Chris, when that guy comes back out of the bathroom, ask him what he thinks of that.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, Chris. Like they did totally did that wrong.
I'm not going to bother people or ask people weird questions because
That's not a bother.
I've been kicked out of so many places. This is one of the few places.
Yeah, don't get kicked out. Don't get kicked out of this one. Don't get kicked out. But anyway, yeah, it's like the Cybermen are brought back and they do this stupid Macarena thing. And here you go, Doctor. That was a waste. That's why I don't like that. Then it was crap.
I really hope that like she says in this next season, like, I tried to give you that army because of this, and whatever this is like the main thing.
I'm sure she'll say that.
I hope that's what happens, because that would make a little more sense.
Yeah.
I keep hoping that they'll put season 8 on Netflix, and they still haven't. Yeah, and they still haven't
do it
put
in September, dude.
Oh, okay. And they still haven't put season 5 of Walking Dead either on Netflix.
They'll do that in October.
Ah,
Yeah.
You can skip that.
Yeah.
so season 5 is that bad?
Well, the build-up that they had, we could talk about it on the Everything Show, I guess, at some point. But
we just added a new podcast to this one, so yeah, it's like we're all part of the same show today. Yeah,
Yeah, I had something else to say, but it was
It's a crossover event.
Everything Show.
yeah, it is. Exactly.
It's for the Everything Show. It's not Doctor Who related.
Let's get to that, man. There's a bunch of stuff to go over with the Everything Show, isn't there?
Yeah.
We got a new Bond trailer tonight.
Yes,
I know.
we've got a Bond trailer.
Well, let's finish with Doctor Who. Is any other Doctor Who news or no?
Oh yeah, Peter said that Kekelius could return. That's it.
Okay.
The guy from Pfizer Pompeii. Yeah, the
He's
one that
coming
he
back.
played.
He's absolutely coming back. He's absolutely coming back. All right, so I guess we're done with the real
Yes.
Really? We haven't seen this.
Well,
in a
there's
while.
still technically a David Tennant clone Doctor.
It's not a
alive.
clone. He's a Metacrisis. Yeah.
He's a clone.
It's not a clone. He's a Metacrisis Doctor with some Donna Noble mixed in, which makes him completely different. I feel, but
Okay, at least
Yeah.
he's like
They
he's
just
like the
created that character.
like the Chinese when they experimented with cloning, they only did it with like stem cells on a cellular level, but they mixed rabbit stem cells with human stem cells and made a hodgepodge like human rabbit clone, but they never let it develop beyond a zygote.
well,
So maybe that's the same with Doctor.
They didn't do that because it's illegal to.
It's still like a clone of sorts, but
No,
I mean,
it's
I got
illegal
like a
everywhere all over the world to clone any type of human embryo.
Oh yeah. Well, we know if something's illegal, people never do it.
Well, that's true, but
Yeah, like
So
murder.
they've done some weird cloning experiments.
so there's
China, but
there's a
that's
body
something
monster. Is that what it is?
Wait, we're not supposed to be
No, they
cloning
never-
people?
Well, no, in China, what they were doing is they
It
were
was technically a law.
They were replicating human stem cells and mixing them with rabbit stem cells.
Oh, the next
So they
episode
didn't-
topic.
Hold
Hold on,
Partners.
Joe, we're not supposed to be cloning people?
That's a law.
Aw, damn it. Hold on 1 second.
But that's another, that's for Tropic Wonders or Everything show.
Yeah.
I wonder.
on
I
for a
can,
few
I can tell you all about that.
Nothing
That's actually
bad.
fascinating.
Hold on.
That's
What, Chris?
fascinating.
If
It
I'm
never,
gone
it never
for a
got
few
beyond.
minutes,
It never got beyond the fact I was just gonna say it never got beyond the
Wait a
cycle.
minute.
That's all. All right.
Hold on,
you
Chris.
gotta
Yes.
clarify which Chris you're talking to.
I'm Team Steampunk.
Okay.
Team Steampunk.
Shit.
Chris is too common of a name.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Seriously.
do an everything show before.
Yeah, this is just
Really
getting out
bad
of hand. All right.
Yeah.
Peace out, homies.